Hello everyone and welcome to my first FM20 series. Before we get started, I'd like to apologise for my long absence, but I've been moving house and I've been trying to get a new recording room set up. I want to try and make my videos more professional than they were before. I'd like to also stop saying so much, but that's what I do when I'm filling in gaps. So I've got a new room, might be able to hear a slight echo, so I'm still working on it, but yeah, that's why I've been away. I do aim to now be making videos on a regular basis, hopefully releasing Football Manager content on a daily basis, especially the plans that I've got coming up. So I'm calling this series Breaking the Mould. The aim is going to be to break the domination of top clubs across Europe and begin a new reign of domination. So for example, I'd like to take a team in Italy and end the immense amount of domination that Juventus have had recently, with probably the last 15 years of winning the league. I know a few of you are going to be watching this and saying, oh, he's picked a team that'll be easy to do it with, where's the challenge, etc, etc, etc. The aim is actually to be able to succeed with this, so I'm not going to take Burnley and try and win the Premier League with them. I'm going to be picking teams who have been bordering on success but have never managed to win the domestic trophy or have not won it in recent times. The reason behind doing this is, like I say, I'm only going to be spending 5 years at each club and I want to see how much success I can get in those 5 years. There's always been talk in football about a 5-year plan, so I'd like to see just how possible it is to be successful within 5 years. The teams I pick, I'm going to manage for 5 seasons and see how many trophies we can win with them and how successful we can make them. I'm going to make a note of the reputation of the team before we start and at the end of the 5 years and see how much improvement we've made them. As you can see from the screen, we are starting out in Germany and the team I've picked is RB Leipzig. As I said, I am picking teams that this is possible with. Leipzig have a relatively new team. They've only been in existence for 10 years and have only spent the last 3 seasons in the Bundesliga. However, they did manage to finish second last season, so I think this is a good place to start. As you can see, this is the information of RB Leipzig. So they play at the Red Bull Arena with a 42,500 capacity stadium, which was built in 1956. So the stadium is quite old. They have great training facilities, superb youth facilities, and good youth recruitment. Now I've set the manager up to have a mentality towards youth, so the profile would be good working with youngsters. I've not set the profile up as a Sunday League footballer, so the manager's not unknown. But I'm also not an internationally recognised manager that's going to be able to just bring anyone in. There's a little checkbox that allows you to tick it that sets it perfectly for the club that you've chosen. So obviously RB Leipzig is a 3.5-star team. The manager's profile and attributes will sort of reflect that. I want to be able to pull players in because I want to obviously be able to have some success. The Sunday League footballer kind of profiles I will be saving for my journeyman season, which I do intend to start later on once some more custom databases have come out. I will aim to carry on doing the Breaking the Mould seasons alongside the journeyman, but to begin with it's going to be my main saves. So as I was saying, Leipzig were founded in 2009 and finished runners-up in 2019. So they are only 10 years old and they did manage to finish second in the league last year. Moving on, we have their recommended starting 11. Now, I know quite a lot of Leipzig. I've heard about them, obviously know the success from coming from effectively nowhere, but I'm not fully up to speed with the players that they've got. So the top earner is Timo Werner. I've heard of him. But looking at the starting 11, there isn't a massive amount of players there that I recognise. I recognise Ethan Ampadu, obviously because he's on loan from Chelsea and I follow English football a lot. And I recognise Poulsen, who plays up front for them as well. But apart from that, I'm going to be using a squad that's relatively unknown to me. So there's not going to be any bias. I'm not going to go, oh, they've got Cristiano Ronaldo, he has to play every week. I'm obviously going to be playing some friendlies, judging the team, and picking a team based on the formation that I choose. So these are the new feature for FM20, which is the club's vision for the future. They actually do give you a 5-year plan. So with us planning on being here for 5 years, we are aiming to hit the Bundesliga. Now I'd like to win it before then, but let's see how we go. So they like to play attacking football with a high tempo press. That is required. That's a required playing style. I think I can build a tactic to suit that quite well. Do not sign players over the age of 28. Now, I do like to see some experience in the team, so there might be one or two coming in that's sort of like that age, but not too old. I think I can stick to that. Sign players under the age of 21 for the first team. I think this will be difficult to begin with, but moving on into the second or third season, once we get some new gens and we've had a chance to look at the youth development a little bit more, that might start to kick in a little bit. So they want me to work within the wage budget. That is required. That is something that I like to stick to anyway. I don't want to run a club into debt. I want them to be sustainable so that at the end of the 5 years we can move on and leave the club in a position where someone else can come in and carry on with the success that we've started. So at the end of the current season, they want to qualify for the Champions League, reach the quarter-final of the DFB Pokal Cup. I imagine that's Germany's version of the FA Cup, domestic cup, and be competitive in the Champions League. At the end of the next season, my contract expires, so hopefully I'm going to have extended that, and they want me to start working towards winning the Bundesliga, which I believe is just sort of challenging for it, finishing second, not being cut adrift, etc. At the end of the third season, they want me to win some silverware, so that doesn't state which cup it is. It's only preferred, so it's not a requirement. So I imagine if we are competitive in them, they'll accept that. And again, work towards winning the Bundesliga. The season after that, the fourth season, they just want to work towards the Bundesliga, which is baffling because they want me to win silverware in my third season, but not in my fourth. Now, I know these can obviously change, but I find it odd that they want me to win a trophy in my third year but not my fourth year. And then in my fifth year they want me to win the league. Favourable. It's not a requirement. I think they'll probably take other things into account, but that's where I'd like to be as well. I want to be ending the fifth season. I've at least won the Bundesliga at some point, and then obviously that will be the end of the RB Leipzig save for breaking the mould. Right, so these is going to be my press conferences and inductions, I believe. So I'm going to skip through these and get to the squad screen. Right, so I've skipped through the inductions. I've done the staff responsibilities because I don't like to mess about with training, press conferences. I also don't take charge of the friendlies myself. I let my assistant manager do that. So I've been through that. FM20's responsibilities page is a lot more thorough than previous versions. So you can actually choose who you're delegating stuff to, and there's a lot more that you can actually delegate, which is quite good. So I've also worked on a tactic. I've gone for a 4-1-4-1 wide formation. I've named it 4-1-2-3. That's just because I've got 4 defenders, 1 DM, 2 central midfielders, and 3 attackers as far as I'm concerned. I have gone for the one up front, which I know the board wanted me to play attacking high press football, but I think with the wingers that'll counter that, and I'm also playing with an attacking mentality. So I'm hoping the high press, we've got a high defensive line and a high line of engagement, so I'm hoping that's going to sort of trigger their happiness. I've looked through the squad. I've picked the players that I feel are the best for the positions we've got. I do have a lot of wanted players, which is worrying. He's wanted by a team in China, so hopefully I can fend them off. He's wanted by Man United. Well, let's face it, you're in a better place here, pal. He's wanted by Leverkusen and Rangers on loan, and he's transfer listed. I think he's transfer listed because he's 30. But he is a good defensive midfielder. So I think that's going to be a case of see if I can... a good ball-winning midfielder. So I'm going to see if I can find a replacement first. Looking at the selections I've got, I'm not short of players, to be fair. So Diego Dem could actually jump in there in his place. In fact, actually, I think I'm probably going to do that. He looks like a better player. So he can leave if Bayer Leverkusen want to make an offer. I'm not going to loan him out because I might as well just get the money for him. Tyler Adams is wanted by Southampton on loan. He looks like a decent full, but I might let him go out on loan. He's a good box-to-box midfielder. Can cover a lot of positions, though, to be fair. He's like the old Championship manager Paul Warhurst. And then Kevin Campbell is wanted also by a Chinese team. He's also a very good player. He is at his potential, and he is 28, so if I get a massive offer, I might let him leave. He does have a minimum fee release clause of 34.5, so I think if they hit that, I'll let him go. We've got some good value players, to be fair. Timo Werner's obviously up there. He's 23. I have opted for Poulsen up front to begin with, but I might end up jumping Werner in there. They're sort of on a par, but Poulsen's just that little bit older, a bit more experience. What I might end up doing is jumping into the transfer window because I've got a striker in mind that you're probably going to see a lot of YouTubers signing. His name's bouncing around all over the place at the minute, but I'm not going to say anything until I do get him, if I can get him. I like that we've got quite a lot of players here with 5-star potential. So Tyler Adams is there, Lookman's there, we've got Kuna, Haidara, Upamecano. Yeah, I'm going to butcher some of these names, I do apologise. Give them some game time, and I think we'll be pushing. Ethan Lampadu's obviously up there as well, but he's not mine. So if... I may actually play Haidara in defensive midfield. I've always opted to sort of favour... I can't, he's not great, is he? Yeah, I've always opted to sort of favour actual players rather than loan players, because at the end of the day I'm just developing him for Chelsea's benefit, whereas if I've got a young defensive midfielder of my own, I'm developing him for my benefit. If I can get Haidara playing there in maybe pre-season and in a couple of cup games, potentially develop him slightly more, then he'll obviously get that place. But I'm looking at this squad. We're in a good place, we've got some decent players, maybe a little bit done in the transfer window, but not a great deal. You'll also notice here I'm using Loki Doki Squad View, which you can get on the Steam Workshop. It gives you a lot more to see on the Squad View. I can't make this bar smaller. Oh, there we go, because that bar's excessively large. I'll adjust these so I can get more on my screen. I've already sort of been messing around with them after I installed it. Where's my movement arrow? There it is. That's the wrong one. That's going to move it the wrong side, isn't it? Yeah. So I'll jiggle them about where I can. There we go. But yeah, it's a good squad view. There's a lot of detail on there. We've got all the contracts information, the transfer value, the potential, as well as some stats for when they've been playing. So I like it. I do highly recommend it. And Loki Doki is a fantastic football manager YouTuber. If you want to go and watch some of his videos, he's the one that actually influenced me to start making my own FM content. So yeah, do go and download that. I've also got a logo pack on, which again I'll leave a link in the description for that below. I've not used the face pack yet, but that's just because they're so big to download, and at the moment I'm not connected to the internet. I'm recording and uploading through my data on my phone, so this is purely just to get videos out there. I didn't want to wait too long. I should have internet in the next couple of weeks, so once that's done I'll start to download other things. So what I'm going to do, we've got, where's my schedule? We've got a few friendlies to play. I'm going to pound through them, do some of the transfer window stuff, and probably come back for. I'll skip the first round of the cup, and then probably come back for the first Bundesliga game. Perhaps do 2 Bundesliga games. Get the Champions League draw. See who we're drawn against, and then crack on and see what we can do with this first season. So I've played through pre-season. I know I said I was going to come back and maybe play the first Bundesliga game on video, but what I wanted to do was get through the transfer window and get to the Bayern game, and then be able to go through the transfer dealings. We are only actually a couple of days from transfer window closing. I don't think there's going to be any more deals, so we're going to go through that now. And we've got the Champions League group stage draw, which we are going through as well. First of all, let's go through his results. So we went unbeaten all the way through pre-season. Then in the first round of the Pokal Cup, we beat Magdeburg 4-1. Werner got a couple, Forsberg got one, and Campbell scored. And then they scored one late on. This Jakobsen guy, when he scored their goal, actually pulled the ball out of the net and ran back to the centre circle like he thought they were going to overturn this 4-1 deficit that they had, but that was quite funny. Then we went on to his first Bundesliga game and beat Union Berlin 4-1. The own goal was Campbell's, hit the post and it came back and hit the goalkeeper and then went in. Then Sabitzer scored the second, Werner scored, and then Klosterman, the fullback, scored from about 25 yards out, which was a fantastic goal. And then we've just drawn 0-0 with Eintracht Frankfurt, which were a bit disappointing, to be fair. There weren't a lot going on. The ratings were all fairly average, and I struggled to make substitutions. I couldn't really see what I could do to change the game, so we ended up drawing that 0-0. We're going into the Mönchengladbach game after the Champions League draw, but I'm not going to show that on video. The first game I'm going to show will be Bayern Munich, and that'll be the next episode. So let's crack into this Champions League draw. We are 4th seeds for it, so we are in the bottom seeds. Some tough teams in there. Red Bull Salzburg are actually an affiliate, so we could play them. Real Madrid, I don't particularly want them if I can avoid it. So we've got Man City, Chelsea, PSG, Bayern, Juve, Zenit, Liverpool and Barcelona. This group so far. Shakhtar, Ajax, Atletico, Real Madrid, Tottenham, Porto, Napoli and Borussia Dortmund. I don't think I can actually drop into these two groups because of the German coefficients. I don't think we can be drawn together. I don't want that group anyway because Bayern and Real Madrid's just yikes. Still fancying this group. This still looks like the better chance to go through. Valencia, Bayer Leverkusen, Benfica, Salzburg, Celtic, Inter, Lyon, Basel. So now Leverkusen have dropped in there. Again, I don't think I can drop into that group. I don't think you can draw someone from the same country in the group stages. So I think that's that group, and that group out. Which ideally I'd still, even with Inter in there, I'd still prefer that group. A chance of finishing second in there, I'd say, even though Zenit like a top seed. Oh no! No, we didn't want that group. It's got Man City, Shakhtar and Valencia. So I think, it's going to be tough. Second's possible. We'd have to do something in Shakhtar and Valencia. So second is possible. But otherwise, I think we may be dropping into the Europa League. But we'll see how we get on with that. So I think that fixture will probably slot into here somewhere. First game. Yeah, we've seen the draw. So fixtures on the schedule. When does it start? So we've had the draw. Playoffs. Group stage draw. Squad registration. Yeah, so it's the 17th and the 18th of September. So it'll drop in after the Bayern game before Werder Bremen. So what I'll do next episode, it'll be Bayern Munich and our first Champions League match in the next episode. So transfer window wise, this screen does actually show you everything that's been spent. So it shows like a 60 million spending. But I've actually, since taking over myself, I've made a profit. So we've sold Diego Dem to Bayern Munich for 20 million. He's a cracking player, but he's 27, and as you know, the board want us to sign young players for the first team. So I've let him go for 20 million. He was only valued at like 9.75, so I've got a good chunk of profit there. And then I've signed Santiago Asquibar as his replacement in that role. He's only 22. He's already at 3.5 star ability. His potential was 4 previously, which seems to have dropped a bit, which is disappointing. But he's obviously got 5 years on Dem, and I think he was rated roughly the same. Yeah. So we've gained 5 years, and the player's probably at a level, and we've made some money. So then I found this guy. I weren't particularly lucky for defenders, but this guy were on transfer list at PSG for 5 million quid. He's on a massive wage, which has pushed me over my budget, but I'm going to balance it out with the transfer money I've got left over. But he's a really, really good defender. He's now my best centre-back. So for 5 million, even though he's on 110 grand a week, I really couldn't. He's got a minimum fee of 74. If somebody wants to pay that, he can go. But yeah, he's 22. He cost me 5 million quid. I know he's on a big wage, but he's a quality defender for that money. I just couldn't really refuse it. We did actually have a couple of other deals that got rejected. There were a youngster that I put an offer in for, if I can find him, if it's on my shortlist. Yeah, so this guy, I got an offer. I put an offer in. It was accepted. I think I offered 10 million. I negotiated them down to 10 million. They wanted 15 to begin with. I got down to 10. 17 years old. But when it comes to promises for where they want to play, he wanted to be a squad player instantly. Now, his rating is 2 star. Is at 3rd division level, behind all of these players, and he wanted to be a squad player straight away. I tried to negotiate that for him to be a youngster. Weren't interested, weren't having any of it, so that fell through. I'm still looking at these 2 guys as potential. Well, not him because Tottenham won't sell him, but this kid as a potential replacement for any of the wingers that might leave. But not yet. Maybe on summer transfer in the end of season, maybe January, depending what happens. Because Man United are no longer interested in Sabitzer. We've still got Man U and Evergrande wanting Kevin Campbell, but Dortmund want Poulsen and Rangers want Ilsanker. So a lot of my first team players are now, apart from Campbell, not wanted. And like I said, there's only a couple of days left in transfer window, so I'm fairly confident I can keep him. So yeah, that's been my transfer window. It's been quite quiet, I would say, but I'm happy with the dealings. I've made a profit. I've spent 16, brought in 20. I'm not taking into account what was spent before I got here. So it's been a good little transfer window. So as I say, next episode we're going to play the Bayern game and the first of our Champions League group stage matches. I know it's been a lot of a talky episode and a setting up episode, but these are the kinds of things that gets the series rolling. It's given me more of an idea of the team that I want to play and how we want to play it. So hopefully we can try and challenge for the league title. That draw against Frankfurt might knock us back, but we'll see. So I hope you've enjoyed the episode of Breaking the Mould, the first of many, I hope. If you have enjoyed, please do consider leaving a like down below. And if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing for some more FM20 content. And I'll see you in the next episode.